Japanese pottery has one of the longest histories on the planet, spanning over 10,000 years. It began in what's known as the Jomon period around 14,000 BCE, with cord-marked earthenware fired in open pits. By 300 BCE, wheel-thrown pots emerged, and in the 5th century, high-fired stoneware from Korean influences emerged. The tradition evolved through the 1300s, leading to the development of the Six Ancient Kilns that produce durable, functional ceramics. In 2017, the ancient kilns were recognized as Japan Heritage Sites for not only preserving old techniques, but for continuity. Few places in the world maintain multiple pottery centers with over 800 years of unbroken activity. The Japan Heritage Sites also acknowledged that the Japanese landscape is critical as each kiln is tied to locally sourced material, such as clay, forest for wooden firing, and rocks and minerals for natural glazes. And unlike ruins, these kiln regions continue to produce, sell, and innovate ceramics till today. Combining 1,000 years of tradition with newer techniques is something the Japanese are well known for. And that's what we'll look at today.
Konnichiwa, Fujii Dai to moshimasu. Hi, I'm Diane Fujii, but you can just call me Dai. I'm half Japanese, born and raised in Hawaii. In my youth, I spent my summer vacations living with my grandparents in Yokohama, Japan, which is just outside of Tokyo. In college, I homestayed across Japan with different families while learning about Japanese culture and traditions and starting to collect vintage Japanese items. Then about 10 years ago, I expanded my collecting to include Chinese and other Asian antiques.
I'll be showing you modern interpretations of matcha bowls inspired by Japan's 6 ancient kilns, each with over 800 years of continuous craftsmanship. These 6 kilns, Bizen, Seto, Shigaraki, Tamba, Tokoname, and Echizen, originated mainly in the 12th and 13th centuries. They supplied everyday vessels across Japan, adapting local resources for unique styles. In the tea ceremony, tea masters like Mr. Senno Rikyu chose specific bowls to evoke certain emotions through the Wabi-Sabi aesthetic, which admires imperfection and beauty and shows the natural passage of time. And each type of tea bowl has certain characteristics relating to this feeling. I'll explain this more as we cover each kiln's history, materials, methods, and when to use them in the tea ceremony to tell a specific story. The first kiln is Bizen, from Japan's oldest continuously producing kiln. For over 1,000 years, it is celebrated for its unglazed stoneware that captures the raw poetry of fire and earth. Tea masters and collectors admire its wabi-sabi qualities, subtle imperfections born from the kiln's unpredictability. These effects arise from wood firing these pieces at a high temperature of 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit for up to 2 weeks. During this long fire process, the pine wood ash, flames, and the clay's iron content interact spontaneously. No glazes are applied. Beauty emerges from the process. In this particular matcha bowl, we see the effects of the fire firsthand. Yohen in Japanese are these rainbow-like iridescence of metallic copper, highly prized for its rarity. On the front and bottom, we see dark char marks and streaks, loved by tea connoisseurs for adding depth and a sense of the kiln's intense heat. In tea ceremonies, this intense energy held by the Bizen matcha bowl conveys strength and resilience, like a samurai warrior's spirit. The second ancient kiln we visit is Seto Ware from Aichi Prefecture, known for adopting Chinese glazing techniques. Seto pioneered glazed pottery in Japan, using local white kaolin-rich clay, and in this example of setonguro, or black seto, iron glaze is applied and each piece is removed from the kiln at pitch heat and rapidly cooled to trap the iron in this glossy, pitted finish. If you look closely, you can see small drips in the metallic glaze. Setoguro tea bowls are admired for its bold, dramatic intensity. The third kiln is Shigaraki from the Shiga region. It is admired for its rustic, imperfect beauty that embodies wabi-sabi, finding elegance in natural flaws and a rustic beauty. Produced from coarse, granite-derived clay, pieces are typically unglazed and wood-fired in kilns for up to 2 weeks, allowing ash, flames, and rock in the clay to create unique effects. We can see a rather rare technique in this Shigaraki matcha bowl. During firing, quartz crystals in the clay explode, creating a rough, pitted texture called ishihaze, or stone burst. This effect is admired as it causes one to slow down and feel nature's raw texture. In the tea ceremony, we are reminded to embrace our own flaws to gain inner peace. This style of matcha bowl is often used in the autumn. The fourth ancient kiln is the Tamba kiln in the Hyogo prefecture, and it had its beginnings in creating large ceramic storage jars. It employs iron-rich clay fired in a long kiln, where each attached room or chamber allows the potter to control the atmosphere. Natural glazes develop from heavy ash accumulation, producing the green ash glaze seen here on the outside. No artificial glazes are used. Effects rely solely on the wood and prolonged firing. On the inside of the Tamba matcha tea bowl, we can see that the ash has fallen on the bowl in larger amounts, causing the glaze to drip down the inside in a few places. We can also see that part of this bowl was covered in the kiln, as ash only fell on the front side. This creates a wonderful contrast with the matte clay and the slightly glossy ash glaze. Tea masters use Tamba matcha bowls for quiet mindfulness in winter gatherings. Number 5 on the list is Tokoname Kiln in Aichi Prefecture, which grew to a grouping of over 3,000 kilns within 200 years. It was the largest ceramic producing area of the 6 ancient kilns. Known for its red mud clay gathered from nearby Tokai Lake, its high iron content and red color adds a sense of grounded warmth, like a family sitting casually around a fire. Using a Tokoname style of matcha bowl softens the tea ceremony ritual to encourage relaxed, heartfelt connections among guests. In this tea bowl, the artist left the clay rough to highlight its red color and allow the ash to luxuriously coat the uneven shape. Some of the areas here where the ash was heavier drip beautifully down the sides of the bowl. In the 6th ancient kiln, Echizen Ware was produced in the Fujii region and is prized for its large, unglazed jars that reflect a utilitarian heritage over 800 years old. Made from sandy iron and mica-rich clay, Echizen is known for producing these simple, large, handmade pieces by coiling the clay. The grit of the clay adds texture and strength. In this Echizen style matcha bowl, the artist references this hand coiling in the design and uses a white slit to mimic the natural wood ash of the glaze. Often used in springtime tea ceremonies, Echizen matcha bowls evoke a feeling of reliability and stability, like a rocky coastline that endures weathering over the years. These 6 ancient kilns represent Japan's ceramic evolution over the last 10,000 years, blending natural materials along with innovative methods to bring a deeper meaning into the drinking of matcha. To further study these and other handmade Japanese matcha bowls, subscribe o onegai shimasu. Mata ne, see you again.